something really, really nice that you are here with us right now.
Yeah, thank you.
In which part of the UK are you right now?
The southeast.
Southeast.
Yeah. We're near, we're near Dover.
Dover, yeah, the port. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Nice place. No.
Very nice.
You're very, very close to France there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We are going to wait maybe a couple of minutes more, and we start with the introduction of the project and maybe test if the translation is working good, and to wait for more people to connect to this conference. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Uploaded it, haven't
Oh.
Ya el canal de traducción está habilitado, ¿no?
Sorry? Oh,
That's it.
I don't know. I'm gonna spend a penny.
Now
What
we
do you
can start this coming.
mean? They said 2 minutes. Oh. Thumbs
Right,
up.
come on. Let's can that go? So you click on that. No, I'm not happy.
You've got to go to slideshow. Right. And then from the beginning. And that should be.
Can you see the screen? Oh. Can you see our screen?
Not by the moment.
No, not yet. No.
No, have you done? Share screen.
Sorry, I've missed it. Oh,
Hit down the green light, share screen.
I can't, I missed it up. How do I come out?
I don't know. End show.
Yeah, let's start again. Right. Try again. Share screen. Oh, it is long. Right.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, we can see it.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
So I think
What's the
you've got to-
first one?
I think you've got to go back to slideshow from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's-
Okay. Can you still? Yeah, they can still see it. So you just carry on now, Ray.
Right. Are we ready? Today, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for getting in touch with us. And I'd like to tell you a story. And this story,
Hold on a little bit, maybe. We are going to do an
We're
introduction
about to start.
before.
What's the matter?
Yo me trabé.
say when you're ready.
Luis, tú le puedes decir a ella que espere unos minutitos mientras primero hacemos una introducción, el doctor Cabello, yo luego la presento a ella, ¿vale?
Ya pude. Listo.
Dear, maybe,
Yes.
Guillermo, puedes, maybe, have you already pressed the button of interpretation?
It's down the screen.
It's on the screen. It says English. It's a globe. It's a globe. Click on the globe.
interpretation.
So that you can listen everything in English,
English.
okay?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
2, 6 minutos. Podemos iniciar, ¿cierto, doctor Cabello? No tienes audio.
A ver, lo voy a escribir aquí.
Ya se te oye, ya se te oye.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí, señor.
Sí.
Pero yo no los escucho. A ver. ¿Ahí me escuchan? Pero yo no los escucho. Voy a reingresar a
Yeah,
la sesión. Voy a salir y
I
regresar
can
a ver
listen
si
to him,
eso
but
lo...
he doesn't listen to us, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Creo que Alejandro tiene algunos problemas, entonces Lía nos pide que esperemos unos minutos.
Creo que me pueden escuchar.
Ya, ya.
Ok, perdón, una disculpa, no sé qué pasó.
Pero te escuchamos despacio.
Ok, ahí me escuchan un poco mejor.
Yo te escucho despacio todavía. ¿Los demás lo escuchan bien? Ya.
Sí, me conecté a otra red de aquí, entonces espero que eso mejore un
Sí,
poco.
sí, ya mejoró.
Entonces damos inicio a la presentación, Guillermo y Renata.
Sí, doctor Cabello, adelante e inicie usted con la presentación del proyecto.
Muy bien, muchas gracias y una disculpa por la falla técnica. Pues les agradecemos mucho tanto a nuestros invitados como a Luis Cáceres por la traducción y a Guillermo y a todo el equipo por estar en este último en esta última sesión del año 2022, que están esta serie de conferencias enmarcadas dentro del proyecto de investigación que estamos llevando a cabo acerca de las consecuencias a la salud y en el ambiente por la exposición al asbesto aquí en México. Dentro de estas serie de conferencias, pues lo que hemos ido observando son diferentes experiencias de personas que desde diferentes ámbitos han podido hacer un frente hacia el problema del asbesto, de las consecuencias a la salud que ha tenido y sobre todo hacer énfasis no solamente en los aspectos de salud o ambiente, sino llevarlo hacia otros ámbitos que han sido explorados en otros países y de los cuales pues estamos muy orgullosos de que han aceptado muchas personas compartir sus experiencias, como en el caso de ahora de los señores Knight. estas experiencias incluyen tanto las propuestas en términos de políticas públicas para prohibir el uso del asbesto en México, que no se ha prohibido todavía. También la documentación a través de entrevistas de las experiencias que tienen las personas afectadas por estas enfermedades y estas exposiciones en ambientes contaminados de corredores industriales. Y todo esto pues también compaginado con un trabajo comunitario para gestar también y articularnos con actores y personas que puedan tener que puedan compartir también experiencias que enriquezcan este proyecto de investigación. Todas las personas que estamos aquí reunidas y más que están por reunirse, pues estamos en la misma sintonía de que pues el problema de los problemas y las consecuencias relacionadas a la salud, al ambiente, lo que genera en las comunidades, lo que genera a nivel social, pues tiene que documentarse y también exponerse para encontrar posibles soluciones y caminos para la remediación. Y pues estamos muy contentos, en lo personal yo también, por contar con la presencia de los invitados el día de hoy. Y bueno, le cedo la palabra a Guillermo para que haga la presentación de nuestros invitados. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, doctor Cabello. Esta es nuestra última conferencia del año del proyecto México Cero Asbesto, un proyecto muy interesante que nace desde la academia, pero que busca tener una proyección social muy importante para que todos los ciudadanos de México, en la medida de lo posible, se unan para buscar la prohibición de este peligroso material en este bello país. Vamos a cerrar esta última conferencia con una súper invitada, de la cual me siento muy orgulloso de que nos pueda acompañar esta tarde, acá en Colombia y en México, desde el Reino Unido, ¿no? En el año 2009, Mavis se dio cuenta de repente de que su respiración le era difícil después de un corto paseo al supermercado. No podía respirar. Se concertó una cita urgente con su médico de cabecera y a las pocas horas fue ingresada en el hospital, donde se le drenaron 7 litros de líquido del pulmón. Esto fue el comienzo de un largo viaje de pesadillas y desencantos. Después de semanas de pruebas y biopsias, le dieron la noticia de que tenía un mesotelioma. Le explicaron que era un cáncer terminal, que no tenía cura ni tratamiento. El pronóstico era de 3 meses. Le aconsejaron que volviera a casa y pusiera sus asuntos en orden. A pesar de ello, Mavis estaba decidida a luchar contra la enfermedad. Los 4 años siguientes los pasó con quimioterapia y ensayos de medicamentos. Al 5.º año, el oncólogo le comunicó que la quimioterapia ya no funcionaba y que la toxicidad de la quimioterapia era demasiado alta para seguir con el tratamiento. Parecía el final del camino. Aunque había estado en tratamiento, no se había quedado de brazos cruzados, sino que decidió desde el principio que había que hacer algo. Así que empezó a buscar respuestas. Encontró un pequeño grupo de víctimas afines en las redes sociales y se unió a ellos. Estaba encabezado por Debbie Brewer. Ella y Mavis se hicieron buenas amigas, pero lamentablemente Debbie sucumbió a esta insidiosa enfermedad, dejando a Mavis para que llevara la bandera de la causa de las víctimas por exposición al asbesto. Se puso en marcha con un vigor imparable. Expandió los humildes comienzos de estos pequeños grupos y creó varios grupos en las redes sociales. Y pronto los Meso Warriors, como se les conocía, las guerreras contra el mesotelioma, se convirtieron en un nombre global. Logró ganarse de esta manera una reputación en los niveles de apoyo y asesoramiento a las víctimas. Hoy su trabajo es reconocido internacionalmente. Siempre se encuentra disponible a nivel personal para apoyar y animar a las víctimas del mesotelioma. Cuenta con el apoyo de variadas personas influyentes. Con frecuencia es solicitada para hacer presentaciones y de esta manera difundir el mensaje. Habla con lores, profesores, oncólogos, médicos y diputados. Ha intervenido en diferentes ocasiones en la Cámara de los Comunes en compañía de distinguidos oradores. Ha recibido un BCA por su trabajo. Es representante de pacientes del NHS, Servicio Nacional de Salud del Reino Unido, y forma parte de varios comités y grupos de apoyo. Su energía y entusiasmo no tienen límites. La Universidad de East Kent le ha concedido el título de doctora honoris causa. Antes de cederle la palabra a nuestra invitada, queremos decirles que contamos con traducción simultánea en la parte inferior de su ventana a esta conferencia por Zoom. Y para la sesión de preguntas y respuestas, les recomendamos que las hagan llegar por el chat de esta misma conferencia. Bienvenidos a todos, bienvenida Mavis, y muchas gracias por aceptar amablemente nuestra invitación. Señoras y señores, con ustedes, Mavis Knight. Adelante, Mavis.
Thank you. Just carry on. Can you see the screen? You had
No,
it before.
not yet.
No, I don't know how to do it. I can't get back to that. You have to finish this.
No.
I can't get out of it. Can you? No, sorry, if I close that down. Right. That's all going to be in the wrong place.
Down you find a button that says in Spanish, compartir pantalla. It's a green light.
I've got to that. Right.
Yes, it's going.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh dear. This. Right, we're there. We're there.
There you go.
I want to get back to the beginning.
Well, I want to get back to the beginning. Oh, no. Oh,
Right.
oh, no.
No, it won't come up. No. Hang on. I'll do something. Sorry, I've got it. I've got it. Go and do it from that. Just click on each picture. Right,
You can click, you can
start.
click on the bottom bar that is close to the 87, the number 87 in the right bottom right corner of your screen.
Right, click on there.
I'll try again, shall I?
No. Start on there.
No, I want to
There's your
start there.
start on your story.
No, that one, the one to the left. to left of 87%, where it says.
That's not working. Just click on them and go down. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Just start.
Okay.
Right. This story for me began almost 70 years ago. In 1953, when as a 15-year-old boy, I began my working life as a 5-year apprentice in the Royal Naval Dockyard in Chatham in the UK. The point of this story today is not to glorify the dockyard's 400-year history, but to raise your awareness to the dangers of just one of its unsavoury products. And that's asbestos. We've all seen it, and it's impacted on so many lives. So I hope now to show you just what sort of an impact it's had on my life.
Try that
It
one.
won't work on that one there.
All
Graphics.
right. All right. Come up to there.
Sorry about this. Right.
Yes, that's that one.
The first 2 years of that apprenticeship were spent in the relative safety of various training centres. And after spending those first 2 years in that training centre, it was time to graduate, to move on. And we were individually moved out and into our first working gangs. And we were assigned to a mentor. And now we're allowed on board the ships and submarines. So a typical day for me at that time would begin at 7 o'clock in the morning. We would clock on in the dockside hut, take a walk along the dockside and stepping over all sorts of things covered in copious amounts of asbestos that had been stripped out of the ship and dumped to shore ready for scrap. Then a walk up the brow meant stepping through miles of leaking, spitting, compressed air lines. And they'd be doing a fantastic job churning that asbestos dust haze into a haze that we work in all day. Reaching the area that I'm going to be working in that day, I'd hang up my jacket and put on my overalls. But those overalls had been hanging overnight in that asbestos dust-laden cloud. And come home time, I would change back into my jacket. They're also all day in that asbestos dust cloud gathering dust. And now I'm going to be taking that asbestos dust home and share it with my family. Moving on, my third and fourth years were pretty much unchanged. So stepping forward now a few years to 1957. And as I entered my fifth and final year of that apprenticeship, I was about to enter a new phase in my life. And this new phase will change my life forever. And that new phase was Mavis. It's a phase that's in its 65th year now. For me, it was love at first sight, and we were inseparable. And we met every single day after work. And sometimes at lunchtimes, I'd speed off on my bike to meet her for a few snatched minutes together. And when we kissed goodbye, she was now breathing in that asbestos dust from my clothes. Now, that dust was going to sit there in her lungs for decades, waiting. And for Mavis, at barely 16, the damage was done. But little did we know at that time that for those snatched minutes, I would be laying the foundations that in 50 years would mean I was responsible for having given her the terminal cancer, mesothelioma. Moving forward now to May 1958, having completed my apprenticeship, The government were happy to poison me and my family on a daily basis with their asbestos. They now wanted me body and soul. So, exactly 1 week later, I was rudely whisked away to do my 2 years national service. So they took away my overalls and tossed me a hairy uniform and boots. Moving back now to May 1960, those 2 years have now passed and I've done my 2 years national service. I'm on my way home. I may be leaving Germany behind me. But all our plans came together and we got married. And I returned to that job in the shipyard. So now this is what I've returned to. At tea break, there'll be no canteen, only a dirty deck to sit on. I must first find an area to sit down in. Then I can pour my cup of tea, open up my sandwich box and get out my paper to do the crossword. Now, asbestos dust has settled on my cheese and tomato sandwich, and it's also settled on my cup of tea. And when the hooter sounded to start work again, I will have eaten that asbestos and also drunk it. There was no escape. But worst of all, I was taking that dust home and Mavis was washing my clothes, breathing in more of that asbestos dust. And as I said, there was no escape. In doing my job, I would be surrounded by gangs of caulkers who'd be chipping off all the asbestos from pipes and bulkheads, and where it fell, it would collect into piles to be kicked about all over the place. There were also gangs of laggers who would be mixing up fresh asbestos and slapping it on the new pipework. And this would involve sacks of it being tipped into drums and mixed, and this would create a big asbestos dust cloud that would permeate the ship. I remained in that shipyard for just over a year. I was now aware that this environment was not for me, and against lots of advice not to, I left. I remember the manager saying to me, "It's not too late, son, to change your mind." "No, thank you," was my response. "You'll be back," he said. "They all do." After over 60 years, I hope he's not still waiting. Bear with me now while I skip through the next 40 years of my boring, varied working life. So we now arrive 40 years on to the year 2000. We reached that point in life that we looked forward to. We had a motorhome and were members of camping clubs. We were enjoying our retirement and 8 happy years passed. And at the Christmas of 2008, I drove this down to Spain, where we spent almost 3 months in the sunshine. But now that dream was soon to become a nightmare, because a few weeks after our return, Mavis began to have breathing problems. Several visits to our local GP, and the condition getting worse, until one morning after a walk across the road, she collapsed in the street and she gasped, "Help me, I can't breathe, take me home." She was then instantly admitted to Kent and Canterbury. After a couple of weeks of running tests, during one of my daily visits, we get the news, and the doctor told Mavis, "You have mesothelioma." "What on earth is that?" we asked him. And he said it's an asbestos-related terminal cancer with no cure and no treatment. He said, "Go home and put your affairs in order." And his prognosis was, "You have 3 months." My brain was now working overtime. Asbestos, that doctor said. My God, how can I deal with this? Because this is my fault. For those lunchtime snacks kisses, that apprentice exposure 49 years previously was now raising its ugly head. Now, the overwhelming guilt come flooding in. This is my thanks to Mavis for half a century of love and devotion, a death sentence. However, several weeks later, an out of the blue phone call came with the surprised offer of a course of chemotherapy. If Mavis was interested, he said. They said it may or it may not prove helpful. She said, well, I'm going to die anyway, so what have I got to lose? And there, so began 4 long, intensive years of various chemos, until finally it was stopped. She had tried them all, and none of them were working. Yes, our lives changed beyond recognition from that black day in 2009. The first thing for me was learning a new role. I became Mavis's carer, and I now had to do things that were utterly strange to me. Me and Louis, our dog, we had a job to do. We had to take care of Mummy. So now my new job was learning to cook, not a very good one. And in my new carer's role, I became very observant, and I found all sorts of things in the cupboard, like brooms, polish, dusters, and a hoover. Cleaning? Well, I was doing my best. I think I was a bit better cleaning than I was cooking. I also found this white box in the kitchen. No, it was not the big fridge full of beer. It was this strange thing. And Mavis said, if you put dirty clothes in there, they'll come out clean. Okay, now I'm going to try to conclude this story. Over the past 13 years since that black day in 2009, we have gone through many emotions from shock, fear, and hope, including the 4 years of hectic chemotherapy, then the cancellation of all treatment because it isn't working. Next, it was months spent on a failed trial, then another year desperately searching for help, followed by 2 more years on trials at the Royal Marsden Hospital. Then 2 years of joy at being in remission. And then fear once more as we return again to the Marsden as the cancers have spread. But with another year passing before that invitation to return, it has spread even further. And after lots of meetings and discussions and tests and biopsies and indecisions, perhaps maybe another trial was on offer. Well, that was the case up to February 2020, but as we all know, due to the coronavirus situation, all our worlds changed. And a phone call told Mavis, sorry, but all your treatment has been stopped. April 21, with Mavis no longer being on any treatment for the past year and no other treatment on offer, she had been discharged from the Royal Marsden and she was now referred back to our local hospital where this nightmare began. She was now suffering a lot of pain. After an incident of extreme pain, her oncologist prescribed morphine, which has helped for a bit. After discussion, it was thought a course of radiotherapy for pain might help. So 6 sessions on the System 2 trial was arranged. And this has now been completed, and at this point seems to have had a temporary response. So now it's a case of watch this space. In June, well, the pain became a problem again. So in June it was decided to return. A return to chemo was in order. So now it all begins again. In September, a scan was encouraging and it showed that it was again stable. And as we entered October, treatment continues, but it is proving problematic. Mavis has decided to finish treatment, so at this point it's unclear what is next for us. But our next problem, we both had COVID. So with both of us now living with cancer, Mavis looks after me and I look after her. We look after each other. You must remember this little story. That's it. I'm done. Thank you for listening to this story. Keep safe. Bye.
Right, so it's at this point I just say that I am now an asbestos activist and quite well known in the UK and around the world. But asbestos has been banned in more than 60 countries, and yet asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in the world. Approximately 90,000 people die from asbestos-related diseases globally each year, and an estimated 125 million people worldwide remain at the risk of occupational exposure to asbestos. About 1.3 million US workers in construction and general industry are at risk of exposure today. When will we take charge and ban this material and make our world safer? School children and teachers get secondary exposure from the presence of asbestos within their schools. If any that exists isn't managed properly, and school children are potentially at risk of secondary exposure at ACM schools whilst at schools. The government's own figures show asbestos is still present in around 80% of UK schools, and the government's own committee on carcinogenicals has suggested young lungs are more vulnerable to asbestos. So I keep fighting to keep people's lungs safe, and we just need more help to do that. But obviously, the world needs more help to ban it completely. Thank you for listening to us.
Anyone still there?
Muchas gracias, Mavis.
Did you hear it
Sí,
all?
sí. Muchas gracias, Mavis, por contarnos tu historia. Ha sido muy interesante y creo que es bastante inspiradora y nos da esperanzas, ¿no? Que no todo está dicho sobre el mesotelioma. Guillermo.
Muchísimas gracias.
We'll leave it alone.
Sí. Bueno, vamos a comenzar con la sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Si alguien en el público tiene alguna pregunta.
Muy interesante la historia, Ray, que nos has contado. Iniciamos la sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Voy a dejar mi cámara apagada porque parece que tengo una conexión muy inestable a internet. ¿Me escuchan?
Sí, te escuchamos.
Yeah, I can hear.
La coordinación de la sesión de preguntas y respuestas.
Guillermo, ya no te escuchamos. Guillermo.
Está en manos de Renata Cortés.
No te preocupes, yo me encargo. Yo estaré a cargo ahora. Tranquilo.
Having problems.
Bien. Muchas gracias, Luis. Querida Mavis, tenemos la primera pregunta. que en primera instancia nuestros
Ok.
colegas, los compañeros del equipo de investigación agradecen que nos han compartido su historia y preguntan si han tenido apoyo legal durante este camino que han recorrido o si lo han recorrido solos.
Here in the UK, if you can't, because it was secondary, I couldn't really claim. So we get help from the government then if we're a case like that, and they give us a compensation. That I did try and take it to court, but who do I sue? How do you know exactly which fibre is the culprit? You don't know, and you don't know where it come from. So I couldn't prove a case.
¿Y esta compensación tienen idea de cuándo fue establecida? ¿Desde qué año se empezó a dar una compensación a víctimas de mesotelioma?
When they started this one was in about 2000. They started giving compensation to those that couldn't prove a case. And then I actually went to the House of Commons and helped to fight for that to be raised, because it wasn't too much at the beginning, but we've kept fighting for it to be upped, and we won our cases.
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y esta instancia que da esta compensación es el seguro de salud o qué institución del Reino Unido exactamente es la que otorga la compensación?
It comes actually from it was the government passed it and said they will pay that. And so it comes from the DWP, Department of Works and Pension, because asbestos, sorry, mesothelioma is an industrial disease. So that's what we're
claim on the fact that it is an industrial disease.
Yeah. Mm.
Life would have been a lot easier if Mavis had actually worked in an environment of asbestos, because then she could have claimed on her own right. But because she caught it from washing my clothes, she's classified as secondary contamination, and therefore has technically no legal right to sue any companies. That's the way it works. Does that make sense?
Claro, claro, sí, es que esa es una situación que ocurre en muchos países donde las víctimas familiares o ambientales no se reconocen porque solamente se reconoce a las incapacidades laborales, pero todos los problemas, todas las personas afectadas, no, ¿verdad? Tenemos otra pregunta. El doctor Alejandro Cabello nos pregunta, ¿qué trabajo realizan en su fundación?
My foundation, sorry, finances 2 Miso UK nurses in, two hospitals have got a Miso UK nurse that the Mavis and I Foundation pay their wages. And then also, was a research. I help out anybody that wants a grant for research. It's only a small grant. It's £10,000, but they can have it and you know, and follow their research through. That's it.
Well, you run all those groups.
Oh, well, yeah, I do.
Advice where to go.
Yeah, I run everything on Facebook, and people then, like this morning, I had so many phone calls. They phone me or they message me needing help and guidance through. It mainly like, well, where they can find treatment, where they can find the trials. So I just I help out on any question they want to ask. Even one Spanish lady, and I've got her to come to the UK, because sometimes if they are from the UK and gone to Spain, they can come back and be treated. There are special funds to do that.
Muy interesante el trabajo que realizan. Muchas gracias. Tenemos otra pregunta. Si nos podrían compartir cómo se ha ido dando la construcción de la red de víctimas a partir de redes sociales virtuales. ¿Tienen este tipo de trabajo también?
I built it through social media, but also if you Google my name, just put in Mavis Nye, and you will get everything I've uttered in since 2009. It's amazing what is in there, and that's how people really find me, from my name. Australia, New Zealand, I've helped to set up a support group out there in Australia. I just help anybody can contact me, and I'll help them on any subject, because, you know, I just know how alone I felt in 2009 when they told me I had 3 months to live. I know how lonely I felt, and I don't want anybody to feel that lonely again.
Wow, eso es muy interesante. De vuelta a las personas que le han llamado de España buscando ayuda, ¿esas personas de España reciben tratamiento en UK o en España mismo? Porque, bueno, en Europa los sistemas de salud, la mayoría son públicos. Las personas pueden tener acceso al sistema público de salud de Gran Bretaña, aunque sean extranjeras, aunque sean de España, ahora con el Brexit, o es en instituciones privadas. ¿Cómo se da la referencia al sistema de salud o a la atención médica?
This particular Miso warrior, yes, she's been having a treatment in Spain, but she's now at the end, she's gone through so much, she's now wants something different, she needs something different. So she contacted me, and yes, we've got 2 trials coming through at beginning of 2023. So I've just put her on, you know, helped her to contact the right doctor, and she can be treated here.
Wow, qué interesante todo este trabajo que hacen. Otra persona, otro compañero nos pregunta Si han tenido relación con otras fundaciones de otros países que también agrupen a personas afectadas por el asbesto.
Yeah, New Zealand, Australia, they've all got these support groups, and they all know me, and I just sort of give them any advice they want to know, to compare it, you know, what they're doing. So yeah, I just, as I say, I just answer any question.
Muy bien. Otra compañera nos pregunta si podrían compartir algunas de las acciones que están realizando en UK desde los activismos contra el asbesto y qué respuesta han tenido por parte de la sociedad.
I'm not understanding that. Sorry.
Otra vez. ¿Sí podrían hablarnos un poco más de el activismo que están realizando en Inglaterra contra el asbesto y qué respuesta ha tenido este activismo? ¿Cuál ha sido la respuesta de la sociedad, del gobierno, empresas, etcétera?
Yeah. Right, I create awareness, but I keep telling my story everywhere. I go to conferences, loads of conferences, and the House of Commons is. I'm going again on Monday to the House of Commons, where there's working parties, and we have MPs come into and talk to us, so that we can get over our problems with asbestos. It's just a case really of, you know, it is mainly conferences where anyone comes. I've just come back from Holland this weekend in the EUF conference. So you just meet up with people from around the world and you just keep spreading it. They support me, yes, very well. There's MPs that give me a lot of support, but it's not just me on that at that point. It's the working parties that I belong to. They, you know, we all help each other there.
Well, basically, it's
Muchas gracias por
working
la...
party.
Okay.
Muchas gracias por la respuesta. Otro compañero nos pregunta si, además del apoyo que ustedes han aportado a personas afectadas por el asbesto, ¿cuáles consideran ustedes que han sido los efectos que el trabajo de su fundación ha tenido en las industrias que producen, vaya, que trabajan con productos hechos a bases de asbesto? ¿Han tenido
Yeah. Yeah. I've got asbestos groups I run as well, and the lads from the industry have joined, and they give me a question. They give me a photo. Does this look like asbestos? Whenever they're worried about it, which I can only say, go and get it tested. So I just work with the lads that are taking the asbestos out of the buildings now.
What was that? Sorry. Okay, thank you. Nuevamente, también nos preguntan.
Oh, they're for us. You know, we work with them.
Okay.
There's such a lot of UK's got a lot of rules and regulations, and you know, we're very much on top of it, the asbestos. So yeah, I work with the industry all the time. There's a gentleman that's got a barcode system, and it goes up on the building, and he updates it with surveys, and so that someone like my son, who's a fire alarm engineer, can go up with, put his phone on it, and he'll see the asbestos in every place that it is because of this, you know, from the survey, and he'll know where the dangers are from that. And that is really gaining a lot of popularity here in the UK. UCNAR, it's called, UKNAR, and it's gaining a lot of popularity. So we'll have a barcode system on. I want it on every building. I would like to see it on every house, and that's what I keep fighting for now. Is that every house is surveyed.
Muy interesante este sistema del cual nos hablan, que aplican en Reino Unido. Otra persona nos pregunta si podrían compartirnos algunas experiencias de cuidado colectivo y acompañamiento para personas que tienen mesotelioma. Y si existen este tipo de experiencias, de redes de cuidado para personas cuidadoras de afectados por mesotelioma.
We've got Meso UK. Mesothelioma UK is another charity with the Meso UK nurses, and we're trying to get a nurse in every hospital as well. Because they are lung cancer nurses, but mesothelioma is still a different sort of lung cancer, and so it's great to have a nurse there that understands what the disease is about, specializes in the actual disease, which is great.
Muy interesante. Es decir, que las enfermeras no han recibido entrenamiento específico para pacientes con mesotelioma.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because we've got consultants and doctors and professors all putting all their time into mesothelioma.
Sí, si las enfermeras en Inglaterra no están, digamos, especializadas en el cuidado de personas con mesotelioma o con cáncer, o digamos, son cuidadoras más generales, digamos, de cuidados más generales, o cómo está
Not
digamos,
all nurses, no.
ok, gracias, sí, yo.
Not all doctors either. You know, some doctors have never even heard of mesothelioma, but we patients keep telling them and we keep training them. And when I'm in the hospital, I talk to all the young doctors that have just come through and make sure that they do know about asbestos, you know.
Hola Renata, ¿me oyes?
Ujú.
¿Puedo intervenir? ¿Me oyen?
Sí, sí, sí.
Maybe, hay algo que me llama poderosamente la atención de tu tratamiento y es, hasta una parte entendí que la quimioterapia había dejado de funcionar. En algún momento, cuando hablamos en Ámsterdam, me comentaste de inmunoterapia. ¿Tú me podrías explicar un poco desde el conocimiento científico que tú tienes de la enfermedad, qué ha operado, qué ha funcionado para que tu caso sea un caso de éxito en el tratamiento del mesotelioma? Por favor.
Right, so chemo did work for 4 years. It kept knocking it back, but it kept growing again. Immunotherapy came in, and I went on the trial, and it worked really wonderful. And I had 2 years of absolutely free. I thought I'd really beaten it and I'd really got a cure. But 2 years later, it came back. So we re-challenged the drug. I had it again for a little while and had great results. And then all of a sudden, the cancer got crafty and started hiding. And it, you know, even the immunotherapy wouldn't work because it was Keytruda at the time. So I went on Gem Carbo when it started growing very, it's still working because it's growing very, very slowly and has allowed me to have all this time. But the chemo is carboplastin and Gem Carbo. That's worked and it's shrunk it for a while, but then it's still growing it in again very, very slowly. So we're now looking at a new trial that's come through, the Nero trial, and we're looking at seeing if that will work. I'm actually on the board of that drug because that's what I've done as well. I've got it right into the National Health, and I go on the board of all the drugs and trials and give the patient's opinion all the time.
Muy interesante, Mavis. ¿Me podrías referenciar el centro de investigación en el Reino Unido donde vienen trabajando este tipo de nuevos tratamientos?
Right, Leicester. Leicester is a great one with what's his name? Doctor. And Southampton. And then the Royal Marsden in London and in Surrey are great places that are investigating really and coming up with treatments. Dingfennel in Leicester is great. Dean Fennell, Professor Fennell in Leicester. And then we've got a research down in Southampton. But the big one is the Royal Marsden in London and in Surrey.
Muchísimas gracias, Mavis. Muy interesante tu caso. Es maravilloso oír este tipo de experiencias entre ciencia, investigación y pacientes por mesotelioma que configuran casos de éxito en el tratamiento de esta enfermedad que por lo general todos lo sabemos tiene un diagnóstico bastante delicado. Renata, ¿tenemos más preguntas? No.
Preguntan si en Inglaterra hay otros casos como el tuyo, Mavis, en los que los pacientes con mesotelioma han tenido una sobrevivencia tan larga como la tuya, o eres un caso muy raro, un caso especial.
What I find is that that patients that have operations, like they have the lining of the lining taken all out from all the organs, more peritoneal, isn't it? Sorry. They do seem to survive better and longer. But yes, we are surviving more and more now.
Esas son muy buenas noticias, ¿no? Como que nos dan mucha esperanza a quienes estamos estudiando estos temas y desafortunadamente a veces escuchamos que poca gente sobrevive al mesotelioma, pero pues casos como el tuyo y el de otras personas nos dan esperanza y creo que también son una razón para continuar haciendo investigación, para seguir haciendo clinical trials, de nuevos tratamientos, tratar de buscar nuevas soluciones al problema. Y creo que es algo que hay que impulsar, ¿no? No darse por vencido y pensar que no se puede sobrevivir al mesotelioma, sino buscar tratamientos, buscar la manera de curar a estas personas. Pues hasta ahora no tenemos más preguntas, Guillermo. Gracias. Encantada de escuchar a Mavis y a su esposo por esta historia que creo que nos deja muchas lecciones y creo que no debemos dejar de impulsar la investigación y el desarrollo de nuevos tratamientos. Creo que eso es algo muy importante en la lucha contra el mesotelioma. No es nada más el tema legal que estamos tratando de impulsar en México, sino también funding. We need funding, necesitamos recursos, dinero para investigación, para tratamientos, para diagnósticos, para formación de recursos humanos. Eso es una parte muy importante del problema que no podemos subestimar y que vamos a tratar de impulsar aquí mismo también con estas experiencias y con estos... por eso es muy importante tenerlos aquí y que nos compartan su historia, porque esto permite dar, support, o sea, como respaldar otro tipo de acciones estratégicas. Gracias, un gusto conocerles y haber escuchado su historia.
Yeah, thank you.
Tenemos otra pregunta, perdón. perdón, no acaban las preguntas. ¿Existe algún programa de vigilancia a la salud para las poblaciones expuestas al asbesto desde la Seguridad Social Británica, NHS, en particular para poblaciones trabajadoras?
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, I'm getting dry. Yes, we've got an asbestos register, and anybody that feels that they've been exposed to it goes to their doctors and they're monitored. yearly. They get a year. All the lads that work with it now are monitored each year.
Perdón, puedo intervenir. ¿Y qué tipo de estudios son los que se les hacen a estas personas? ¿Cómo es que les vigilan la salud?
It's because they have a scan every 3 years. All the work all those that work with it. I mean, they're masked up well, and the masks are great, but they do silly things. They won't shave, and so you lose that airlock. What do you call that? Yeah. So they do silly things because they say it's an old man's disease. It's not going to hit me now. And that's silly. So yeah, they are monitored. They're scanned every 3 years, and it's a watch and wait.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Guillermo, creo que no tenemos más preguntas por ahora.
Sí, Renata, si puedes cerrar la sesión tú, te agradezco.
Sí, claro, por supuesto. Bueno, pues, Mavis, agradecemos muchísimo pues, la historia que nos han compartido ambos, al matrimonio Naye, por estar aquí con nosotros esta mañana en México y ahora anoche en UK. Creo que el relato no solamente su historia de vida fue bastante iluminador porque no solamente nos permite ver el problema ahora, sino cómo se fue desarrollando. Y eso ilustra muy bien cómo se da este problema. Queremos agradecerles por este tiempo que nos han dedicado y por esta presentación que han preparado para nosotros y nosotras. Aquí en México estamos empezando todavía a plantear rutas de intervención, rutas de trabajo, y afortunadamente contamos con la experiencia de la doctora Guadalupe Aguilar Madrid y de cuyo grupo forma parte el doctor Alejandro Cabello López, y ellos han realizado mucho trabajo de investigación desde hace varios años, y eso es un buen antecedente, un buen inicio para nosotros, y vamos a seguir esa misma línea para tratar de encontrar más líneas de intervención, más áreas estratégicas, más acciones estratégicas que puedan impulsar no solamente la prohibición del asbesto en México, como les decíamos, sino también, pues, justamente el tema de la vigilancia, que no se ha realizado de forma sistemática en el país. Necesitamos conocer cuántas personas han estado expuestas todavía, porque no lo sabemos con exactitud, y necesitamos rastrear esos casos de mesotelioma, y ahora que también ya se ha determinado que está asociado con cáncer de ovario, cáncer de laringe, pues también, ¿verdad?, incluir a esas personas y, por supuesto, a las asociadas por cáncer de pulmón. Entonces, es un reto muy grande que tenemos en México, como en muchos países de Latinoamérica, por el subregistro, por la negligencia de los gobiernos. Los gobiernos han actuado negligentemente durante décadas, pero consideramos que todavía estamos a tiempo porque pues, hay mucho trabajo por hacer, muchas personas que todavía se están exponiendo, aunque en México se está dejando de utilizar el asbesto paulatinamente. Eso no va a eliminar las exposiciones. Sabemos que para que eso ocurra van a pasar muchísimas décadas. Entonces, definitivamente hay muchísimo trabajo que hacer, muchas áreas de intervención potenciales, y vamos a seguir trabajando en ello y pues esperamos verles en un futuro. Ojalá que más adelante volvamos a coincidir. Y te deseamos mucha suerte, Mavis, con tus tratamientos, que sigas brillando como hasta ahorita, que sigas iluminando el camino de muchas más personas, porque creo que historias como la tuya nos traen luz, nos traen esperanza, nos ilustran también, o sea, nos enseñan, pero también nos dan esperanza y la esperanza pues es algo que nos alimenta. Cuando todo parece que no tiene sentido o que no tiene, pues como, como que no hay mucho que hacer, historias como la tuya nos dicen que sí hay mucho que hacer y que debemos luchar por eso. Entonces, pues encantadas y encantados de tenerlos aquí. Ojalá que coincidamos en un futuro y pues no nos queda más que agradecerles. Que tengan una bonita noche.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Nice to meet you. It was a pleasure. See you soon. Bye. Buenas noches a todos. Con esto damos por clausuradas el ciclo de conferencias México Cero Asbesto. Agradecemos a todas y a todos los integrantes e compañeras del equipo que han estado acompañando y siguiendo las conferencias. Han sido unas conferencias bastante interesantes en el sentido de que hemos explorado varias áreas potenciales de intervención y áreas estratégicas, ¿no? También de formación. Y en este sentido, estamos muy agradecidos con Guillermo Villamizar por haberlas organizado, gestionado y por habernos traído a una serie de ponentes que nos han enseñado muchos aspectos centrales y fundamentales para entender la complejidad que implica el asbesto, no solamente desde la parte biomédica o clínica, sino también desde la parte política, el activismo, la cuestión incluso del manejo del asbesto, entre otros muchos aspectos a considerar en este problema. Y no nos queda más que agradecernos, despedirnos y pues hasta el próximo año.
Gracias, hasta luego.
Chao.